Good morning, Jacob and Jess. I'm here in Mantorville off of Main Street where the entire park here is completely underwater, much of it coming right up to the bridge, and a lot of people are going to have trouble getting to work this morning. I'm here in the aftermath of where a semi-truck caught fire earlier this morning. As you can see, it was carrying ears of corn, and this entire mess is all that remains. County deputies are not releasing any details as to what they are investigating, but they have set up a perimeter, and they're not letting anyone through. I'm at the edge of that perimeter right now at the intersection of Simpson Road and 45th Street Southeast. A couple of minutes for the effects of this very cold temperature to settle in. I'm just going to give you an example of how cold this weather is. Eyes up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about to show you something kind of cool. I walked right into that. I stepped the wrong way. But that's just an example of what happens when you throw hot water out in temperatures like this. And now that I got your attention, you just might want to take I am near the corner of Snelling Avenue and East Lake Street. Behind me, there is an Arby's burning to the ground. Just down the street from here is a liquor store that is also on fire right across from the police precinct, which is partially in flames, but there are also demonstrators inside smashing windows and destroying the entire inside. You can see them running around inside the precinct. Behind me, the sound of glass smashing, breaking bottles, throwing Molotov cocktails. There are not any police here, but it doesn't seem that anybody has been injured. I arrived at Minneapolis around 11 o'clock last night and was at the scene until about 2 o'clock this morning. Emotions ran high, and for many, the city won't be the same. Some people were seen throwing Molotov cocktails, setting fire to multiple businesses and vehicles. A dramatic scene at the front of the police precinct saw demonstrators chanting and raising their fists. Police had already evacuated at this point, but demonstrators also vandalized the inside of the precinct, smashing windows and spraying graffiti. A nearby Arby's was also set on fire and burned to the ground. Minnehaha Lake Wine and Spirits was also looted and burned. Fireworks were continuously set off, and the scene grew more chaotic as fires spread throughout the night. Reporting live in the studio, Kilat Fitzgerald, KTDC News.
Rochester was named a high-intensity drug trafficking area this year, as officers respond to daily drug-related crimes and record volumes of narcotics are seized.
The amount of illegal substances that are being trafficked into our city on a daily basis is unacceptable, and we need to work hard to fight that.
Police need help from people who can get to places they can't, sources with access to dealers who trust them. This usually means former drug users who volunteer to become confidential informants in order to build a case against traffickers.
It's important to have somebody that's got some sort of an inside information to help law enforcement to be able to further that investigation.
Such operations are considered high risk for informants in more ways than one.
But then they're risking their sobriety and their recovery, not realizing it because they don't have the tools yet to stop themselves from using.
Danielle Fonslow is an addiction treatment specialist for the Zumbro Valley Health Center. She works with patients on the path to recovery and says that stepping back into the circles of drug use can throw them off course.
If you're out there doing that and doing a controlled buy with a dealer, first of all, it's not safe.
We spoke with an undercover Rochester police officer. He deals with informants directly and acknowledged the risk.
We don't just throw them in blind. We know the target that we're using for, we know the situation, and we have safety plans in place to rescue that informant if needed. And there's been times where we call off the operation.
Maintaining that confidentiality can prove to be challenging when prosecuting a case.
If and when we ever get to a trial and that person is actually a necessary witness, then we do have to reveal their identity and we do have to have them testify. Occasionally that happens.
One operation led to the arrest of Michelle Williams, who had sold to an informant several times. She now faces third-degree murder charges after the informant she sold to died of a heroin overdose.
It's an obsession and a compulsion. So if a substance user goes and buys this drug and they have it in their hand and then they take it and they go give it to the police, you're going to obsess about it. And more than likely you're going to use.
Using some of these, lower-level offenders to get to the higher level offenders that cause more harm to the city of Rochester and surrounding area is worth it.
Without their help, this community is a far less safe community.
Undercover investigations continue to play a pivotal role in the drug war, as it continues with no end in sight. Kilat Fitzgerald, KTTC News.
This is a culmination of countless hours.
5 months of investigation leads to the arrest of a second suspect in Rochester's first homicide of 2019. 30-year-old Mahadin Omar Abukar is now implicated in the case, arrested Wednesday afternoon while checking in with his parole officer. The reason for that meeting? Abukar's conviction in a 2009 murder case. Police arrested the first suspect, 23-year-old Ayub Iman, in June. Both are in custody and face second-degree murder charges.
We believe that Mr. Abukar and Mr. Iman, both working together, committed the homicide.
A passerby found the remains of 28-year-old Garad Hassan Roble of Rochester just before 4 o'clock on the morning of March 5th on a gravel stretch of 45th Street Southeast just outside of Rochester.
This investigation is still ongoing. Law enforcement in Olmsted County is hopeful that the arrest of Abukar and Ayub Iman, that arrest was on June 12th of this year, will bring cooperation from those in the community.
The criminal complaint says video shows Abukar and Roble drinking in downtown Rochester the previous night, and witnesses later saw the two get inside Iman's car in Rochester. At noon, the latest on the amazing discovery of Jamie Kloss, found alive after escaping her captor. Good afternoon. I'm Kilat Fitzgerald in for Jess Abrahamson. The result we all wanted to see. Those words from investigators this morning after missing teen Jamie Kloss escaped capture in rural northwest Wisconsin. News Center's Jacob Murphy has the latest. Now to the heartbreaking loss of Black Panther star Chadwick Boseman. His death, a tragic reminder that colon cancer rates are rising in young people. NBC's Kristen Dahlgren has more on Boseman's brave battle. And played up against the poll, but I'm going to go with B, The Exorcist.
All right, well, I'll have to see how that bears out. We'll have the answer officially in a couple minutes, but you're going with B, though.
Yeah, going with B. We'll see if I'm right later
one.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole, that stays with you.
That's, yeah, you don't forget that one, the pea soup, too.
We'll get the answer later on. Thanks, Dad.
As law enforcement is called to multiple collisions, and public concern over the water at Foster Aaron Park is addressed after the Parks Department gets aquatic test results back. And Ted, unfortunately, it's not going to be a completely dry day today, so might not want to jump in the water.
Not very many of those, actually. Yeah, each day features